Welcome back, YouTube. Today we are doing a reaction to my boy Geekdom. Shout out to my boy Geekdom 101. I was gonna say 201, but 101. Today he has the honest truth about Gogeta versus Vegito from Death Battle. So yeah, let's check this on out because there's a lot of controversy. I didn't even like it because I was like, technically ain't they the same character? So how would one beat the other?
Gogeta versus Vegito. This has been a debate that has gone on for decades in various incarnations of the Dragon Ball fandom. And once again, it's being brought up. What is the truth behind Gogeta versus Vegito? Wow.
Hey.
Yeah, I just wanted to see this because it's like, I don't know, Death Battle's not like really good when it comes to that
not
stuff.
to listen to people who do these kinds of videos and don't
That's why I was telling people earlier when they did Black Goku versus Reverse Flash. Even though Reverse Flash can hit like a dwarf star, Black Goku would kill him if he got his, like if he had Reverse Flash in his hands, he would just snap his neck. Like, I didn't like that fight. That fight made no
really
sense.
dig into the homework. Instead, on this video, I'm going to tell you the absolute truth behind Gogeta versus Vegito, going all the way back to the original run of Dragon Ball and Z, and even GT, all the way until the modern incarnations of these characters. By the end of this video, you will have all of the factual data behind this death battle. Yeah, I've got a little bit of puke in my mouth for even saying those words on this channel. But
I want to hear what he say, because he's the Dragon Ball Z because of this stuff.
When it comes to Vegito versus Gogeta, we have to go first back to Dragon Ball Z and then talk about what happened in Dragon Ball Super. So the first thing we have to get out of the way right away is that the power of fusion, whether you're using Metamoran fusion, which is the finger pose, or if you're using the Potara fusion from the gods, is that the power of the fused character is relative to the power of the characters that are doing the fusion. What that means is, if you try to compare Gogeta Blue from Gogeta in Fusion Reborn, obviously Gogeta Blue and Broly is going to be much stronger because at that point in the series, Goku and Vegeta had already been training much more. At that point, they had already tapped into the stronger god forms, and they were much better fighters. Same thing goes for Vegito. So if you're comparing Vegito Blue in his fight with Zamasu in Dragon Ball Super episode 66 to Dragon Ball Super Broly's Gogeta Blue, obviously the Broly Gogeta Blue will be stronger because that was after the Tournament of Power where Goku and Vegeta got significant power boosts as opposed to before during the Goku Black / Future Trunks arc where he was still strong but obviously much stronger down the pipeline. We know that when two characters fuse, their power is supposed to be multiplied. However, the guidebook state is just A times B, but that doesn't really make sense when you scale how powerful Vegito was in the original manga when relative to Ultimate / Buhan, Majin Buu. Vegito was owning Buhan without breaking a sweat before he even went Super Saiyan. In the manga, he didn't have the base form fight, but it doesn't matter. Vegito is still leagues above even the strongest Majin Buu. So that tells me that it can't just be a multiplier because logically Vegito wouldn't have been able to beat Buu otherwise, especially not dominate him the way that he did, allowing him to purposely let Buu absorb him to go inside and save the kids. Now, that means that the power of a fused character...
I didn't know the Potara wings were yellow in the manga, the color version. That's plain.
Is always going to be stronger than the individuals combined. Same thing with Gotenks. Why do you think Gotenks was able to do Super Saiyan 3 but not Goten and Trunks? Because the new being itself, the new character they create, albeit with a time limit, is much more powerful and the body is much sturdier than them as individuals. With that being said, it is stated, and here's a very important point.
In the anime,
back in the original manga and in Dragon Ball Z, that Potara fusion is a better fusion than the Finger fusion. This is stated by the old Supreme Kai, the Ru Kaioshin, to Goku when he gives him the Potara. And at the time, this was changed later, the Potara fusion had no time limit. None. They were going to be fused pretty much indefinitely. And of course, we know that Goku and Vegeta defused as Vegito inside of Majin Buu. And there's been tons of theories behind that, but the only explanation given to Goku is that there was a very strange scent inside of Majin Buu, which to me has always been more of a magical thing.
Well, with that, they never clarified. Well, they never clarified that he used magic to split them apart once they was inside his body. So that I understand what Geetham is saying right there. It does kind of make sense. When I was young, I also thought it was magic too, because they did say Majin Buu was a magical being. Maybe magic did split them apart at that time. Maybe or maybe Akira Toriyama didn't think of a way to split them apart, and he just did it just so we can have the two nostalgic characters back. We don't know, because we don't know. We're not Akira Toriyama, or he probably forgot too. He probably like, damn, I did right there a long time ago. And then, because he's old now, he's like in what, 60s or 50s now. So I doubt he remembered this right here.
Majin Buu's magic to me is probably what defused them. However, Dragon Ball Super changed this whole thing. So the old Kai himself says that the Potara fusion is better. And that to me, since I was a kid, has always made me think that Vegito is more powerful than Gogeta.
Let's go!
One more game in this, but look, oh nah. Trash.
How they behaved, because at the time the only thing we had was Vegito from the Dragon Ball Z / Dragon Ball manga and Gogeta from the 12th Dragon Ball Z movie known as Fusion Reborn, and both are relatively super strong. Gogeta wiped out Janemba very fast, but that's because it's a movie. And in Dragon Ball Z movies, they don't have time to mess around. They want to finish off the opponent because the movie has limited time span, whereas in the manga / anime, it's a serialized story, so it can drag on. Has nothing to do with power, and those who compare the powers based on how fast Gogeta beat Janemba are absolutely wrong. Plus, you can sit there and compare Janemba to Majin Buu if you want to, but that to me takes away from this discussion. Vegito, at the time, was said to be a better fusion, and we saw some crazier feats from Vegito, especially in the anime, that we did not see from Gogeta. So to me, Vegito at the time was a better fusion. However, Dragon Ball Super came into play, and there were some changes, but not the kind of changes you would think of. Not changes when it comes to power. What I mean by that is this. During the aforementioned Goku Black arc, we find out that the Potara fusion is not indefinite when mortals fuse. That means that when a god fuses, and you have to remember, this artifact, the Potaras, are made for the gods, not for mortals. When a god fuses with either a mortal or another god, it is permanent. You only need one god to make this a permanent fusion. Both characters do not have to be gods. Now, the big revelation in Super is that Potara fusion does have a time limit if it's two mortals, such as Goku and Vegeta, and that time limit is 1 hour. So Gogeta and the Metamorph fusion has a 30-minute time limit, as we know. Vegito has a 1 hour time limit. Both fusions, however, function similarly in that when a character uses up a lot of power, that time limit can run by quicker, so the clock runs faster. We see this in Dragon Ball GT when Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 is only able to fuse for a limited time because of how strong he is, and we see it again in Super when Vegito fights Zamasu, fuse Zamasu, and the fusion's only lasting a few minutes because they were putting in so much power that the time ran out faster. Same thing happens with kind of every fusion when you think about it. So that right there kind of evens the scales a bit. But I think that the most obvious explanation when it comes to comparing their powers comes from extra supplementary material. Unfortunately, the series only gives us so much information. Unfortunately, we have never seen Vegito versus Gogeta outside of maybe something like Dragon Ball Heroes or a video game, but once again, we're not counting video games as official content and continuity because it's a video game. They exist in their own world. Whereas the manga, the anime, the movies usually have either Toriyama himself with Toei Animation or Toyotaro or whomever he's working with, or sometimes just Toei, like in the case of GT with Gogeta. But I digress. If we look at the supplementary material, we get more of an answer. For example, this image right here from Jump Magazine tells a very different story and one that is interesting. It basically states that in a battle of less than 30 minutes, Gogeta would probably have an advantage, but if it went longer, then Vegito would. But it does state that the balance for Gogeta is better for drawing out maximum power. So what does that really mean? It's kind of a strange thing to say, but the way I'm interpreting this is that when they fuse with Gogeta, they're able to tap into their power much easier than with Vegito. Now, that could be because all of their power is being compacted into a time limit format, and that when the Metamorans developed the fusion technique, that they sort of knew this, and that the fusion technique was being used primarily as a way to finish opponents off quickly, which to me makes sense. Instead of enjoying the battle, like what Goku and Vegeta and the pure-blooded Saiyans do, the Metamorans, when they came up with the finger fusion, they didn't care about that. They just wanted to win the fight. It was done as a defensive measure to protect themselves from enemies. They just wanted to win and be out of there. Whereas in the case of the permanent, at that time, now 1 hour fusion of Vegito, that could give you a bit more time, but you're not really going to have the power at your fingertips. You know, it takes a lot of discipline to draw out energy. And Goku and Vegeta themselves have been training and fighting for so long that it's probably second nature to them. But for a Metamoran or for an untrained god or somebody else using Potara or even finger fusion, they might not be able to figure themselves out or figure out their bodies. Remember, when you fuse, you have a new body. And thus you and the other soul inside of you have to sort of work together to make it function. But because it's one person, it's not going to take you that long. But either way, it's still like a new body. Sort of think of it like when Captain Ginyu changes bodies. You have to figure that out. But fusion is so powerful that even without having that extra time to master your body's movements, you're still going to be able to smash most opponents with it. Now, there's another statement that was made later on that says that Gogeta and Vegito's power is relative to each other. And that, to me, makes the most sense. To me, what that pretty much means is that either one can be stronger depending on what the situation is in battle. But it doesn't really give us a clear answer there. It really does not.
In my entire life, I always thought that Gogeta was technically stronger, but since he was never canon, he was only in the movie. I never really looked at it like that, and I was like, okay, cool.
Rival boost. For those who don't know, the rival boost is something that was discussed way back in the Buu arc, but not so much in the Buu arc itself. The rival boost with fusion is something that was kind of a throwaway statement made by the old Kai that was misinterpreted, I would say, by some fans. He talks about how the power of Goku and Vegeta being lifelong rivals is what makes Vegito so strong, right? But I think a lot of folks misinterpret that, and they think that because you are fusing with somebody who is a rival to you, that it gives you a boost to try to beat the other person. That's not the way I see it. The way I see it, it's that Goku and Vegeta make themselves better fighters, which has been proven time and time again. In Resurrection F, Vegeta straight up tells Frieza that he needs Goku to make him better. These two guys have always been playing a game of can you top this, and even if they're not enemies like what's going on now, they're still rivals. They still want to be the strongest and compete with each other even if it's friendly. Look at Dragon Ball Super Superhero. They sparred and had a competitive matchup. No hatred. Vegeta's not trying to kill him. Goku's not trying to kill Vegeta. Ain't about that. It's about seeing who is the strongest and who is the best, and that sort of desire and that excitement that comes with battle. That's how they are. So that to me is the true explanation of the rival boost. I don't think that would exist with Goku and Gohan fusing or even Gotenks, right? But if you are going to factor in the rival boost, then you can't say one is better than the other because it's still Goku and Vegeta. No matter if you're fusing Vegito or Gogeta, it's still Goku and Vegeta. So they're going to have that rivalry, that can you top this sort of mentality they've had all their lives in either fusion. Now, one last thing I want to discuss is the techniques. I've seen a lot of people get this wrong because they think that because Gogeta uses the Stardust Breaker and Vegito uses that Key Sword technique, that they're exclusive to each other, meaning that the techniques that Gogeta does, Vegito cannot do, and vice versa. And that's wrong. That's completely wrong. The video games might have it that way, to where they play differently, but that's not how it is, because both Gogeta and Vegito share the same brain, and that means that whatever techniques they come up with together as one being will transfer over. And that does mean that Vegito hypothetically knows how to do the Stardust Breaker, and that Gogeta knows how to do all of Vegito's techniques. Big Bang Kamehameha, Final Kamehameha, whatever hybrid blast you want to come up with, both of them should know how to do it because they share the same brain. I think that the debate between Gogeta and Vegito is a little bit silly, to be honest, because it's basically just two different ways to achieve the same power. But with this video, I have given you all of the evidence for you to come up with your own conclusion. To me, what makes the most sense is exactly what was stated, that when it comes to short battles and finishing off your opponent, Gogeta may work better because that time limit allows them to raise up their energy faster and be able to attack. However, remember, with Metamor and Fusion, both characters have to have equal power or relative power to fuse. And that means that whoever is stronger has to lower their ki. So when Goku and Vegeta fuse in Fusion Reborn, for example, Goku is not in Super Saiyan 3. And we know that Super Saiyan 3 Goku is more powerful than Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta at that time. So because of that, Goku having to lower his energy would imply that Gogeta wouldn't really be topped out. Whereas Vegito, there's no such thing. Anybody confused and get a big boost. So I think, to me, Vegito probably is stronger when you factor that in. But Vegito is also better for longer fights because of the fact that the fusion time is longer. If I was a betting man, I would go with the original Dragon Ball manga version of the events, which is that Vegito is stronger, but probably not by much. Probably not by much. When it comes to design, I personally think that Gogeta looks cooler because that damn vest that the Metamorans wear is dope. So are the baggy MC Hammer pants. I like it. But anyways, my conclusion is that Vegito is stronger. And once again, I don't want to sit here and compare Vegito from the Zamasu fight and Gogeta from the Broly fight, because had they done the Potara fusion in the Broly movie and fought Broly, it would have probably been the same damn thing. The fight would have probably been the same, to be honest with you, because at that point, it's all about Goku and Vegeta as individuals being strong and the power of fusion. I think a lot of folks underestimate how strong fusion is. With that being said, I will bring this video to a...
That's crazy though, because it's like when I was watching Death Battle, they were so... That's how you know Death Battle don't do their research, y'all. That's why I be trying to tell y'all, when I do those reactions for Death Battle, bro, they don't research those characters well depth like they supposed to. It's like, it's a hit or miss with them. It literally is. And some people would defend Death Battle so hard, dude. It's nuts. They would defend them to the day they die. It is no joke. I'm not making this up. They would defend Death Battle to the core. Like, I'd be like, y'all 100% sure about this? It's kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? But man, I don't know what to tell y'all, bro. It's Death Battle. That's why I be saying sometimes they don't do their research to the fullest like they supposed to. Like they just slap some stuff on there and call it, yeah, and expect you to read it. Because, you know, there's a lot of power scaling when it comes to those fights they do. And I guarantee majority of people that's probably watching those fights be like, they wrong. They got all of that wrong. Everything wrong. Because I hear a lot of people, when I watch a lot of power scaling videos, they'd be like, Death Battle does not do the correct research. Stop watching him. It was actually funny. He was like, yeah, that's not accurate and it's damn sure not right. But it is what it is. Some people just gonna take it and eat it. But hey, not me. Because when I do my versus videos, I do power scaling as well. And I gotta tell you right now, that shit is hard. hard as hell because you gotta calculate everything. 'Cause you really don't have to really calculate everything because if you watch the videos of somebody else doing it, you can just be like, oh well, let's pour this up. Yeah. But anyways, guys, hit that notification bell, subscribe to the channel, make sure y'all follow me. Also, we go live on Twitch, Blitzway 406 on Twitch TV. So make sure y'all check out my Blitzway Twitch channel at the bottom of the description box so y'all can see all my latest games I'll be playing. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas. Peace. I'm out. Let's check this joint on out, y'all. This shit ain't gonna be sicker than I ain't gonna lie. Capcom has been killing it. Capcom is dipping their balls in some good juice right now. They feeling themselves. They said they made all this money off Resident Evil and shit. They like, man, we ain't broke no more.